Good afternoon, guys. Tonight we're not mixing. Tonight I want to talk to you. Come into the room. Come into the room. I need at least about 300 people. I need to speak to you guys. I missed you. We haven't spoken in a while. I hope you guys had a great day. God bless you. Thank you so much for tuning in, guys. There's almost 200 of us now. I need more. I need more. Come into the room, guys. The only country in the world now we fully act under Zelitini. Oh. There's 200 of us, guys. I need at least 300. I want to talk to you. I want to talk to you. We need 300 people in the room. I want to talk to you. Come on, guys. Let's go. Hola, 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 hola. Kamukelo, Shapujwang. Drew Red, how are you doing? Terence Masang, I see you. Tembela Shacho, I see you too. Shapunjan. I need 300 people in the room, guys. Come on, I need 300 people in the room. 300 is not a lot of people. Come on, guys. Oh, my president. I see you, my president. Mafusana, Shapunjan, Babskosan. Hey, I've got a story to share, guys. So, I get a call from one of my clients, right? When I say one of my clients, I'm talking about MoFire clients. So, I won't say what brand it is, what company it is. We've got a great relationship. We're growing our relationship. We doing a lot of work together. And, you know, and I'm just growing my relationship with my client. So my client runs, so they want to motivate their team or their staff to work better. So we've had our relationship start sometime late last year. So this year we're just planning a lot of things to do together, right? With my client. So my client comes up with a concept to say, hey, from time to time, some of our best performing workers, we're going to do different prizes. Like, for instance, you know, giving away lunch with you, Sbu. So, excuse me, I had a great time. So I'm thinking out loud. So anyway, we decide to have a lunch, and the lunch happened today to say, these are the guys that are performing well in our company. The lunch is going to be today. So I decide, so they give me a call. This is before today, like last week or whenever it was. They're like, Sbu, which place would you like us to take the team out to lunch to? So, you know, me being me, I'm like, of course it has to be a black-owned restaurant, right? Let's go and support a black-owned business, a black-owned restaurant. I won't say the name of the restaurant, but we decide, no, let me go support them. I've been supporting them for years. I just love what they do because I respect the founder of the business. She's a role model to me as well. You know, she's my old lady Mtala, and I look up to her. She's one of my inspirations, and I've been supporting that business for a while. I mean, whenever I've got a couple of times a year, every year, a couple of times, I always go there, you know. But the business does not sell MoFire, right? And then I'm like, you know what? Because I'm going out with my team for lunch and I'll be supporting them, it won't make sense that we are on a lunch table with 20 people and there's no MoFire on the table. Because wherever I go, the people ask for MoFire from me. I do know that even the guys, while we're having lunch, they're going to expect to have more fire somehow. Or even when we're done, they're going to expect to have some more fire gifts. So let the people know we're going to have more fire. And it only makes sense for them to buy whatever else that they want, but at least let more fire be around. So if whoever wants more fire, they can have more fire. So to cut the long story short, guys, I won't say the name of the restaurant, right? My heart is so sad. I'm so hurt. I'm so hurt. Because I love this business so much and I look up to the owner. But today, I was made to feel like more fire is not welcome in that restaurant today. And the guys I'm having lunch with want more fire. So I called one of my guys, some of my guys who sell around the area. I'm like, guys, please make sure that you bring more fire. I know the place doesn't sell more fire, but we've let the people know and we're giving them business anyways. I mean, even if we don't tell them. But the fact that I'm bringing 20 people for lunch, the bill is obviously going to be a couple of thousands. And besides that, I mean, I've been supporting them for many years and it's a black-owned business. It's not like I'm complaining that they don't sell more fire. I don't have a problem with that. But my inhliziyo is sad because today, after choosing them out of other black-owned businesses, they just made me feel like I was not welcome in that place today. They made me feel like I'm sneaking more fire in. They made me feel like more fire is not needed in that place. So much so that when they called the manager, when I tried to explain to the manager, she said, I will allow you to have more fire. I will allow you to drink more fire on the tables. But when you're drinking more fire, drinking in glasses, you tell them as if more fire being a dingegi, and that's a black-owned business. And I'm bringing business there. I'm bringing 20 people. I'm bringing my client there. And then I'm thinking, Hashem, my employees, blame. But when they called the manager is saying to me, I will allow you to have more fire. Imagine. And this is a person that I'm bringing thousands to their business. I brought my client is spending thousands there. I could have chosen another business, but I chose that business because and I look up to the founder, I look up to the owner, and it's a kaslam, it's a guruleni, guys. Bangenza sengathi ngiyayiforce more fire ngathi ngiyayitshontsha ukuthi ibe laphayana. They made my more fire guys feel like abasi welcome ukuba laphayana. Nami they just made me feel so awkward. And this is out of supporting a business for so many years, and it's a black-owned business. I pick up the phone and I try to call the owner, but phone yakhe and I did not want to do that because But even after I told the manager, I was like, why did I bother? Why did I even bring so many people for lunch today here in this business? When my business is not appreciated, I don't feel appreciated, more fire is not appreciated, and we are black people supposed to be supporting each other. And I've been supporting that business for many, many years. And they know me, Nabo, they know. And it's a Kaslami, guys, can you imagine? I'm not going to say the name. How would you feel? What do you guys think when that happens? When you've been supporting a business for a while or a brand for a while and you bring business to that brand on a consistent basis, because I've been going there for many years, but let's talk about today. Say you're bringing business to that brand. Now, let's not make it about me anymore. Let's talk about you. That's my experience for today. I'm disappointed. And I'm not saying their name, because if I say their name, then I'm just making an example in experience because I do know we've got a long way to go as abantu abamnyama to really support each other, because I really think we support each other. We don't physically do it. Like, we don't literally support our black brothers and sisters' businesses. I think we support when but when we actually have to act and do the actual deed, we are all guilty of that at some point in Mhlambe. I don't know. But let's talk about you, your experience. What do you have to say, on a story like that? Do you have anything to share? Have you guys experienced something similar with your own black-owned hustle? I'd like to hear from you. I mean, I'd like for you to share with me and speak to me. I do know we can't go live on Facebook. I would have loved to, but maybe I'll read some of your comments. Kevin Jaure wants to distribute Mofa and Zim. Most definitely, it's more than welcome to be distributed anywhere. Go to our website, mofa.co.za, and send us an email. You'll see our details there, my brother. God bless you. Linda says, take your business elsewhere, Sbu. Black people don't want to see you prosper. But I want to see them prosper, though. You know, I want to see them prosper. I don't think I'd like to hear what I must do. I've decided to forgive them. I've also decided not to name and shame them, because I don't think I should respond with the similar energy that I've received from them. As I've said, I've been supporting them for years. Even Nanamhlanje, I brought them a bill over 5,000 rands. I think, over 5,000 rands. You know, a bill Namhlanje. Maybe almost 10,000. But it's not appreciated. Like my Mofa is not appreciated. I was not felt appreciated. And for me, it's not about them not selling Mofa. I don't have a problem with that. I still wanted to give them business. But still, even when people can see what you are there to bring them business, they still make you like as if they're doing you a favor. And Fortune says, we've got a problem as black people. We should change our mentality. Is it the owner or worker's problem? I think my experience was with the workers, but then I called the manager. When the manager came, still, the manager made it feel like they're giving me permission to have more fire there. I'm like, wait, you're giving me permission when I brought you 10,000 rands today and I've been supporting you all these years. Literally, physically, forget my presence being there. Just me, physically, the bill today was almost 10 grand. But you feel you are allowing me to drink more fire in your space. I'm not even saying sell more fire, no. And I'm not even selling more fire in your premises. It's more fire that I feel I need to bring for my team, these 20 people that I've brought. And besides, when I take pictures in your place, and when they take pictures in your place, you get mileage out of that when they share on social media what they were at your place. Maybe you don't need that. You don't need the publicity. I understand that. But me, now when the pictures are taken, I'd also appreciate when I've taken people out for lunch, for them to have more fire, but they're not forced to have it. Just like they can order anything else, but it makes sense for those who want it, let it be there and be available. But if you make me feel like more fire is not needed here, why do I even have more fire in your premises? But I flippin' brought you thousands of rands in just 2-3 hours of being there. Don't you appreciate my business as a black-owned business? And don't you also understand, okay, that doesn't matter, it's not about me. Let's talk about you, your experiences. I'd like to hear what you have to say and some of your experiences. You know? Because I love this business. I love the owner, I love the story. I love what they do, I love what they're about. But today they gave me such a bad service, such horrible treatment, that I don't ever feel welcome in that place ever again. And I don't think I'll ever recommend anyone to go there again in my own personal life. I'm not going to broadcast them on social media and say who they are, what the name of the business is. But it is you know. I just thought, let me vent out there without having to name and shame anyone. Because I've forgiven them already. But I still feel as black people we've got a long way to go, you know. And unomthandazo ati, just address your feelings, Vel. It's true. It's support. The support can't be one way, you know. Shout out to Tanaka, you're watching from Australia. Yes, we're hustling in KG. We keep hustling, we don't stop, you know. Mawanda says we need to be taught black business support. That's how our fellow brothers from outside SA beat us at the game. Let SA money circulate amongst us. Forgive them. No, of course I've forgiven them, man. I'm not childish in here. I'm very mature. I understand what it hurts, but you have to forgive for you to understand where they are. They're not where they're supposed to be. Guys, at some point we have to be unapologetic and intentional about supporting black business. That's why I'm sure now in 2020 or 2021, I wear more local brands than I wear international brands. Why? Because I'm intentional about supporting black-owned. I'm intentional about where I spend my money. I'm intentional about how, and I know it's not practical to 100% support black owned. There's still a lot of products we don't own. There's still a lot of services we don't have. But I'm just saying consciously, I'm intentional about supporting black. When are we all going to get to that level where we're intentional about it, we are unapologetic about it, and we are saying, Mina, I wear Patu or Trip. I'll probably wear other international brands once in a while, but I wear Patu and Trip. I wear different color Patu, I wear different color Trip. Do you know, I'm intentional about it. And out of 5 days in a week, maybe 3 or 4 of those days, if not the whole week, I'm wearing Patu or Trip, or I'm wearing a local brand, La Pezulu, or I'm wearing, you know what I mean? Because I'm intentional about it. I'm intentional about it. This is my aim, and this is how I've consciously told myself I'm going to live my life, because I'm going to practice what I preach. So I understand we are not all there, but when are we all going to get there though? Are we even trying to get there? Or are we still in that mindset, yokuthi, I know, abantu bafuna into so, mele ngithi. Bazoyifuna kanjani le enye na unganayo? You know what I mean? You know what I mean? I don't know if I'm making sense. Like bazoyifuna kanjani, you must be intentional about it, because at some point, I mean, I've even told myself, ukuthi, because this is a generational battle and a generational journey, all these people abadala manje, anybody that is 20 years or older, actually I get a lot of love, to tell you guys the truth. I get a lot of love from younger people, and I'm talking about more fire. I get a lot of love from younger people. I don't know what that is. I have not done my research yet, but I kind of feel the more the years go by, the more the kids that are born today, they are being born into Patu, into Rich Mnisi, into black-owned businesses. They can't compare a life where they lived it before Patu was there, when we all wore ama all-star lokshini and we thought it tekla lokshini all-star. Kids of today, they are born with Patu being there, as if Patu is going to be normal as they grow up. Drip is going to be normal as they grow up. More fires. My daughter does not see a difference between Monster, More Fire, Coca-Cola, Red Bull, and Play. She says, my daughter even calls Coca-Cola, she calls it More Fire Coca-Cola, because she sees it as the same thing, More Fire Red Bull. Fire Monster. Even when she is seeing Monster, she calls it Fire Monster. Why? Because she does not know a world before Mofire. She was born into this world. So I think the journey is about building generational wealth and building it for the future, to a time where it's normal to not buy other brands, to subconsciously support a black-owned product or business or brand. But it's a long journey that we all have to go through. It's going to take us some time. But I'm saying, when are we reaching that consciously? Our mindset that even us as consumers, we practice that lifestyle. You know, it has gotten to a point where I kind of feel, hey, it's a bonus when they're supporting, and it's highly appreciated. But my focus is the youth. My focus is the people that have been speaking at their schools. I've been inspiring them. I've been giving off of myself, my knowledge, sharing with them. You know, people that are younger, that I believe are the future buying power of tomorrow. Because the ones that are old right now, in Tangazami, Nalababanye, who are like 5-10 years younger than me, like we're all pregnant. Says Joala Makuchi, Nama Louis Vuitton, Nama Adidas, Nama Nike, Nama Red Bull, you know? Yes, we can say we want to support black-owned, but a lot of the times we don't practice what we preach. But I find that when Legends is opening a new hair salon, when I look at that queue, it's just young people. When Drip is opening up another store, when I look at that queue, it's just young people. When I get into more fire hashtags, every day, the pictures, the images, the videos, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, it's just young people that are supporting more fire. Where are the older people? The older people have got every reason not to support a black-owned brand. Every excuse in the book not to support a black-owned brand. And that's disappointing. So maybe the answer is also still in my commentary to say it'll happen in the next couple of decades. When these young people that are supporting these brands now are older, they are the main buying power. But Tina, as abantu abadala, I think we are just lip service. We say one thing and we do the other. And big shout outs to everybody that supports a black-owned brand, a black-owned business, a black-owned product. And as I did say, you forgive them. Let's forgive each other. Because mentally, we all have to understand we are all not there yet. So if they're not supporting you in some sort of way, or they're criticizing you, or they come up with every excuse in the book to not support your black-owned product or hustle or business or brand or service, I feel forgive them, forgive our people. And let's just continue this journey of educating people why we have to keep supporting each other. It's not going to be a 10-year thing or a 20-year thing. It's still going to take many years. So, you know, I'm glad that I've been able to vent. And thank you guys for giving me your ear. I appreciate it. Lawrence says we expect township economy to grow, but we don't really support each other. I have quite a similar experience as you, bro. It's sad to see and feel that you are unappreciated. No, it doesn't mean that I'm unappreciated everywhere. But I'm just saying, yes, there are places where I still experience, you know, it's actually easier now to sell more fire than it was when I started. It actually gets easier every year. Easier. Now it's the easiest it's ever been. Like, for instance, even with clients or wholesalers or cash and carries that I open up to sell more fire. I'll make you an example. Last week, I was in KZN, I was in Durban, Port Shepstone, and Pietermaritzburg. We saw 10 different clients. Our strike rate now, out of those 10 different clients, we closed 9 out of 10. Can you imagine? Why? Because now it's a little bit easier to sell more fire as it was a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 4 years ago, 5 years ago. 5 years ago, out of 10 clients, probably only one would have signed us up. It would have been the other way around, the ratio. 3 years ago, it would have been maybe 3 or 4 out of 10. 2 years ago, probably would have been 5 or 6. Last year, probably would have been 7. But last week, this year in 2021, it's 9 out of 10 people. That's a strike rate. Why? Because the brand has grown, because we're not giving up, because we are persistent and we are intentional and unapologetic about our hustle. So it just says, keep going. The more you push, the easier it becomes. The more you push, the easier it becomes. In the beginning, it's hard. It's very hard. It was difficult to sell Mofa in the beginning because you're not only getting resistance from the clients, you're also getting resistance from your own people. My own people used to tell me ukuthi ngithengisa poison. Sengicabanga ukuthi ngiyenzani yini lento engiyenzayo ngiyahlanya. Ngazini ngomculo or ngazi ngama cold drink because into ngimele ngiyoyenza ukucula, kumele ngiyocula. I'm like, even I'm a DJ, I'm cool, but the people would just dismiss you with hype. I would even get into meetings and people would never see an entrepreneur. They used to just undermine me and just see umculi. I was you know, type of thing, like the undermining type of a mentality. But I've never been one to take things personal. I'm always understanding of where the country is, where the mindset is, where the people are, as far as that is concerned. And I've just been patient with my hustle. Just like today, although I'm hurt, but I've forgiven them. And that's why I don't even want to name the name of the company or the place where it was. But I'm just saying, yeah, you probably had a similar experience. And if you are, and it's tough for you, you are only 3 years in. You are 2 years in. I'm 6 years in. And on top of that, I am a known person in a lot of communities. It's probably easier for me to close a deal than it is for you. But can you imagine how difficult it's been for me? I just imagine an ordinary entrepreneur, how difficult it is for you guys. But I'm trying to say to you, don't stop, don't give up. Just keep pushing. The second year, it's still tough, but it's better than the first year. The third year, it's still tough, but it's better than the first 2 years. The fourth year, it's still tough, but it's better than the first 3 years. Kanjalo. As I'm saying, I'm on my 6th year, but it's better than the first 5 years. And I'm sure in my 10th year, I'll still be experiencing challenges, but it'll be better than it is now. So I just want to encourage somebody out there and say, Big Homies Buddha also goes through these types of days. Brands like Abo Mofire are still rejected in some places, but we never stop. Guys, we are pushing something that is bigger than us. This, I call it Powernomics. You know, if you're listening, I'd like to give you homework and say, go research Dr. Claude Anderson. Go research Dr. Claude Anderson. You know, I listen a lot to an American economist by the name of Boyce Watkins. He happens to be a YouTuber as well, and he happens to be an unapologetically we buy black type of a movement pusher. He shares a lot of his knowledge. He's a professor. He's got PhDs. He's got multiple degrees. Very smart guy. What I like about him is he calls a spade a spade. He's unapologetic about supporting black, and he preaches the black narrative. He recommended a gentleman by the name of Mr. Claude Anderson, which he spoke to Charlemagne to have on the Breakfast Club. And they had him on the Breakfast Club. Some of you guys might have seen his interview. If you haven't, go online and search for a book called Powernomics. Powernomics. I think I'll leave you with that homework for tonight. Thank you very much for your comments. I can't go through all of them, but when I've got time later on, I'm going to go through the comments later, although it might not be now through this live. I've got a meeting that I have to get ready for. It's a Zoom meeting now at 7 o'clock. I love you guys very much, and thank you very much for being an ear. This entrepreneurship journey can be lonely sometimes. We all have to inspire each other and encourage each other. Just like Navi today, I felt so unappreciated, so unwelcomed, and I felt as if, you know, my drink is also not welcomed. And with that experience, I thought, let me come and share with you guys. Probably you're going through the same thing. You're probably gone through rejection as well. Sometimes sometimes you don't have anybody to speak to, but I'm just saying we are all on the same boat. We are all entrepreneurs. We are all on the same fight, and it's not our fight. It's our children's fight and our children's fight. If we want that generation to become better, instead of pointing the finger and expecting the politicians to do it, let's do it ourselves. And how do we do it? We do it from controlling our money, where our money goes to. But if it's both ways. You can't only control where you spend it, you can't only control other people to want them to support you, but you also have to do same, support others. If I'm expecting somebody to buy more fire, I have to be intentional about supporting Trip. I have to be intentional about supporting Batu. I have to be intentional about supporting Beck's lifestyle. I have to be intentional about playing music from local black guys, from local black young producers. I have to be intentional about supporting authors that are local. I just have to intentionally, consciously brainwash myself to live a black lifestyle or a for black lifestyle. Yes, it's almost impossible because we don't own anything. We don't own everything. We are only starting now. But I'm just saying, if the mindset has been changed, or we are already starting to unlearn and relearn and start practicing a different lifestyle, I think you are well on the right path when you start changing the mindset, because it starts here. And then it starts with you sharing it amongst your immediate friends or your family or your colleagues or your classmates. It starts there. And just you saying, I'm different, I wear Batu. Others are going to say, yeah, no, but these local guys, their service is like this. Just say, I forgive them. You know, they'll get better. But I'm intentional about supporting black business. I buy from the mama on the corner. I buy Amakunya from Guspanbani. I buy Rich Mnisi. I buy Matkosa. I buy Drip. I buy Batu. I buy whatever it is that you feel is local and it's within your the type of lifestyle that you live, or within the things that you consume on a monthly basis. If you're intentional about it, I think that's where it starts. And these conversations over 20 years would have grown. Over 50 years would have grown. And out of the things that we are starting, some of us right now that are in the beginning of it, we are going to have it hard than the kids of the future. They say the trees that we sit on to enjoy the shade or to enjoy the breeze of fresh air, phansi komthunzi welanga kule ihlahla esihlala kuzona, ayitshalwanga yithina, itshalwe abanye abantu who are no longer alive to enjoy that shade. So what we are building right now, the fruits of it are not going to be enjoyed by us, but by our children and our children's children. And we are the ones that are going to break that cycle of ubaba nakashona ibhizinisi liyawa, because ubaba akekho umntana mfundisile emndenini ukuthi azi ukuthi uma eshona business, how are we going to take it forward? All these soapies we've been watching all these years, about Days of Our Lives, about The Bold and the Beautiful, about Dallas, for those who are my age, 40 years and older, even about generations right now, in even Nabo Greenleaf, Lanko Babugela Netflix, they are all pushing generational wealth, because if you are watching Bold and the Beautiful, Rich Foster is from a family that ran a fashion company that is called Foster Creations, and his father was Eric Foster, but it was a family business. That's why he taught about Rich Foster and all the other kids. And we are just watching for the entertainment value, but we are failing to watch the other side. It's actually a family-owned business, and that's what they're showing us. That's how they live. They live their family, and everybody's a part of this family business. That's why Noma Eric Foster and Ashona, about Rich and about Thorn and them, they've learned how to run this business because they grew up in it and they participated and they went to school so that they can get those skills and come back and plow into the family business. The same as Dynasty or Days of Our Lives or Dallas or even Generations. Do you guys even know that when Mfundi Vundla created Generations, it was an advertising agency and a family-owned business, and that story was created it was inspired by a company which was called Head Boys Advertising, which was owned by Mr. Mfundi Vundla's brother, Mr. Peter Mvundla, who were the first black owners of a black-owned agency called Head Boys, which was in Sunning Hill, in a partnership together with one of my role models in marketing. I call him one of the best marketing gurus South Africa has ever produced, Mr. Happy Nchingela, who was a business partner to Head Boys. Generations was a story based around Head Boys Advertising. So if you remember, when Generations started, it was about a family business that ran an advertising agency. I think we only looked at the entertainment aspect of it and the stories are along the characters' lives, forgetting the bigger picture. They all belong to a family that owns an advertising agency, and that's a black family. And they were the first sort of an example of a suburban black family that is successful. So black people were being portrayed, to be making it in the new South Africa, to be taking their kids to better schools, to be talking business, to be in offices as they live their lives, and they focus on the different characters. But the main story was around a black-owned a black family that owned a black-owned advertising agency. So what I'm trying to say is, let's be more intentional around building or creating black wealth for the future, but not for ourselves. And let's be not apologetic about it. Let's be unapologetic about it. And let's also be understanding of each other when we make mistakes. Let's rather say, how do I help a black-owned business to be better, as opposed to wanting to take my business elsewhere. Yes, I'm tempted to take my business elsewhere. That's the reason why earlier I was like, before ngidineka ngitshela ukuthi angangiphinde ngizela ngfonele umama, the owner of the business. Unfortunately, she couldn't answer the phone, but I did try to call her. So that's what I'm trying to say. Let's also forgive each other, because we are all not perfect. And our mindset is also not the same. And sometimes it's unfair to be mad at the employees or the workers, as opposed to they're just following instructions. That's why the leader has to be conscious. The leader has to be intentional about being unapologetically black and having black suppliers. I know we're all only starting now, but things are going to get better. Guys, I have to go to my 7 o'clock Zoom. I love you very much. It's even already dark outside. Thank you so much for all of your comments. I wish you guys all of the best. And lastly, I have forgiven them, guys. Don't worry. And shout outs to my clients and the guys that I took out for lunch today. I had a great time with you guys. I was with 20 guys from my client, and we were just chilling, having lunch. After having lunch, we had drinks. We ended up having a great time with the guys. I gave them some Mofa drinks outside afterwards, Nasahamba. I had a great time. But the black-owned business, I forgive them, and I'm saying let's forgive one another. We're all in this journey together. And this is not ours. This is our children's children's children. As much as we are talking about our forefathers and our ancestors, let's remember that one day we will all also be ancestors. What are we doing right now to make sure that when we are ancestors in future years to come, in year 3000, we've left things for those generations to feed off of from, and for those generations to be proud of us as their ancestors, and for those generations to say, our forefathers, Abo Steve Biko, came with the ideologies, they spoke about this, and they put it on paper. And then us, we read about those ideologies, and we are practicing it. We're putting the work. And then, so that this thing is a relay, guys. You can't run it till the end, because if you are very, very lucky, you have borrowed 100 years on this in this life. Other than that, you're going to live half of that. Other than that, you're going to live half of that. So in the years that you are here, what are you doing to make sure that in this relay, you are running your race the furthest you can, so that when you hand over the baton, you are at least have contributed your part while you were still alive and while you were here. And that's how I think, and that's what I'm doing with my life. And I'm challenging you to do the same. I love you guys. Have a good night.